Welcome to the Jim Baker Show. Coming to you from the village of Morningside, snuggled in the beautiful Ozark Mountains. Today, Jim's special guest, Dr. Don and Mary Colbert. I'm Zach Drew, along with the Morningside Band. And now, direct from Gray Street at Morningside, here are your hosts, Jim and Lori Baker.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
What a beautiful audience. Welcome to Gray Street, and Don and Mary Colbert are in the house. They're our doctors, but they're two of our best friends on earth.
Truly.
So you can see what terrible friends we are because we don't placate. We don't have time. We don't have time. We don't text you all the time, just when we have a health question, right?
That's fine. That's fine.
Can I take this book and show it right now?
Absolutely.
This book, again, Dr. Don and Mary have not even seen the book till this time, right now, this moment. They have not seen this book. It's brand new. It's not out for another month. It's not out till December. This book, this is the greatest, I believe, health book ever written.
This literally is the key. This is the purpose-driven life book for health. It is.
It is.
This is the key.
It is.
And again, I want to
can
make
see it.
sure, because of all the books I've written, I've sold over 10 million books over the years.
Woo.
Amazing.
Over 10 million. But this
You are
is the
New
most
York Times
important.
best-selling author, by the way, one of them.
Yes. But
Several.
Again,
You know
yes.
that, don't you?
but again, this book is the key book. This is the most important book.
It
this
is.
is my life book right here.
Can I
This
tell
is
you
the key.
something?
If you don't leave another book, and I hope you leave a lot of them,
I
this,
agree.
this would be
The most
for
important.
you, I would say, this is my life's work.
Let me tell you what I'm
agree.
excited about this book. Can I real quick?
Yes,
I mean, I've seen
You
this
wrote
work.
the intro to this
Yeah,
book, didn't
but
you?
let me tell you one of the reasons I'm most excited about this book, and you're going to love this. Listen to this. He says, to my colleagues. He dedicated this book to the medical community. He dedicated this book to every practicing physician. And the reason he did that is because he understands not all of them know the same thing. That's why some of them, you come in and you get a book of Dr. Colbert's and you read it and you go to your doctor and you say, you know, well, this doctor, and he looks and goes, I've never heard of that before. It's because they don't have the time, the money, the resources to research and find out. Because if a pharmaceutical rep isn't telling them, they do not know.
That's right.
So what we wanted to do is dedicate this book. And the best gift that you could possibly give this book to your doctor.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Every doctor in this country needs this book because he has written it in a way that not only the general public can get it, but that people of science, when they read it, will get it
Yes.
and go, I know what this man is saying. We could create a revolution in this country toward
Amen.
health.
Yes.
That would
Amen.
be amazing.
Amen.
You know, we've always asked our people to kind of be missionaries with the books that we offer.
I'm ordering a baker's dozen of these immediately to keep in the trunk of my car because you never know who God's going to bring across the pathway of your life. Here's the other thing. You know, when I'm flipping through the channels or I'm thinking about what I'm going to watch, and this is true for the majority of people, everybody wants to know how to be healthy and to do something about it. The thing is that, I mean, you have to just get the book, you have to read it, and you've got to do what it says as well. But I can tell you that if you don't have your health physically, it's hard spiritually to be strong. It really is. I mean, you can debate me all day long and say, oh, but I'm going to tell you, I went through it. I went through that whole hepatitis C thing and all that treatment and everything. And I'm going to tell you what, there was a time I called Mary Colbert, and I called her, and I was so weary inside. I was so weak. I didn't think I was going to live, actually. And I went to Dr. Don Colbert, and I'm telling you, you gave me hope. You gave me hope. You gave me hope. and I was able to go on and then making the right food choices. Like, I'm so excited about the psoriasis because I deal with psoriasis, and I know when stress is coming on. I mean, my head. If you ever see me on the show, I'm hitching my head. It's psoriasis, you know. So I'm like, okay. So I'm excited to hear about that. But the cholesterol, the high blood pressure, you cover everything.
Yeah, let them see right here where you have open, honey. This, if you can see the close-up here in this box, every section where he's talking about, like cholesterol, in this box is foods that usually lower cholesterol. This is some of the foods that I've been on. I stay on it.
So
Yeah, your chia seeds, your salba seeds, your
Yes.
flax seeds.
Yes.
And I feel like we almost discovered the chia seeds, or they actually, we called them salba seeds. And that's the high-end chia seeds. And then what we're eating right here is
look
in
at
this
this.
group of food, the wild salmon
Amen.
here that
Yes.
we have.
Wonderful.
You know, and then the avocados. I believe I eat some avocado every day in my life.
So good
Yes.
for you.
And
Uh-huh.
that's
But you
my
don't
fact.
want to eat anything every
Every
day.
day.
That is a very
Mary just-
important factor, folks, that you need to know. Anything you do every single day, and I was telling in the back,
Yes,
Lori and I
you were
were
telling
talking,
me.
I said, do you know that if you use the same skincare every day, eventually your body rejects it? Same toothpaste, anything, shampoos, they'll quit working on your hair. They won't work the same. Your body has this built-in mechanism. It'll begin to
Wow.
build up a resistance.
Mary, I can't believe you're saying this.
It's true.
My father, who went to be with the Lord at 92, that was one of his advices to us kids. He said, don't eat any one thing over and over. Don't be gluttony on one thing. He said, because if there's poison in it, if it hurts you somehow, it's going to hurt you. But he said, eat more of a variety of things.
And rotate it.
It was amazing how healthy my mother cooked. But she didn't know desserts were not good for us, so we had desserts almost every meal back in the old days. Our first thing when he came home from school, what's for dessert, Mom? You know, we just had dessert. And I love cakes and pies and sweet stuff. And it's a killer.
It is.
And this generation right now in America, they say about 50%. Have you heard these new figures? That almost 50% are either pre-diabetic or diabetic. That it's an epidemic hitting America. And what the government hasn't been able to do to bankrupt America, diabetes will eventually bankrupt the system because of
And Alzheimer's, because right closely behind the diabetes epidemic is the dementia epidemic. And they're really concerned in the next 30 to 50 years because we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. And the dementia is the sixth leading cause of death presently in the U.S.
6.
Sixth leading
Why
cause
is it
of-
increased, Doctor?
Shocking.
Why is following the diabetes and obesity epidemic? See, as the waistline expands, the type 2 diabetes and diabetes expands and pre-diabetes, as the dementia expands, they're following one another.
Now,
It's-
you said in this book, and I'm going to quote you, you said diabetes, not diabetes, but the
Dementia is type
Alzheimer's,
3, yeah.
dementia is type
Yes.
3 diabetes.
Well, I didn't say that. Some of the leading specialists in the world.
Well, you say it
are
in your
saying this.
book. You
Yes,
quote it,
I
though.
talk absolutely. But that's what the top specialists are saying now, because what dementia is, it's type 3 diabetes of the brain. Let me explain it to you. When you have diabetes, type 2 diabetes, the cells of your body are resistant to insulin. You see, insulin is a peptide, and it's a hormone, and it goes in, and it binds to an insulin receptor on the cell that opens the cell up so it takes in the sugar. The body runs off sugar. But then in the brain, eventually the cells of the body with too much high insulin levels due to high sugar intake and high starch and grain intake, the body becomes resistant to insulin. So it takes higher amounts of insulin to bind to the receptors, to open the cells up to take in the sugar. The same thing happens in the brain. The brain cells become resistant to insulin. In other words, the brain cells do not open up to take the sugar in, so we don't get sugar. Without adequate sugar, the brain cells start to degenerate and die. That's why it's so important to keep the brain's insulin receptors sensitive to insulin. Now, what I've told people, and what's a fact that most people don't realize, that 98% of the information that we learn, we forget. 98% we forget after 1 month. In other words, what I'm telling you now, you're going to forget 98% of what I'm telling you after just 1 month.
That's right. That's why you got to get the book.
That's why you need this.
So that's why
you can keep going back to it, and you get it inside of your mind and inside of your spirit.
This meal that you put in your book, and you have our chefs cook this.
Right.
This salmon, are you saying this salmon will turn into good sugar?
Well,
that we can eat this, right?
Well, what is happening? We have sweet potatoes
Yeah.
that are a healthy, low glycemic starch that's going to help our bodies. It's not going to spike our blood sugar. It's going to give us the right fuel combination with fiber, with healthy proteins, with healthy fats, with healthy starches. And in other words, what we have is the perfect food to quench inflammation in the brain, in the body, and prevent disease. And this is going to keep us full for 4 or 5 hours.
Yes.
And so we control those appetite hormones. You see, the problem today, and that's why I have a chapter on weight gain and how to lose weight. Because again, if we can just simply get our waist measurement down, we close the door on diabetes, on high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, heart disease, as well as dementia. It all follows that. And so we work on the appetite hormones.
That's why we're seeing the epidemic then.
Yes,
that
that's
we're
the
seeing.
key.
And sugar is one of the big culprits, isn't it?
Sugar is one of the most inflammatory foods on the planet, yet our taste buds get so addicted to this food that we have to have it at every meal and in between meals and at bedtime. And it's creating inflammation. It's causing insulin levels to rise. It's causing obesity. Whenever you eat sugar, you are telling your body, store fat, store fat.
Oh, boy.
And you're also telling your body when you go to the gym, don't burn fat, don't burn fat. And then you get these appetite hormones. You get the ghrelin. When ghrelin levels are high, it unleashes a ravenous appetite. But when leptin levels are high, it turns off the appetite. But if you eat a lot of sugar and processed starches, it causes your body to become resistant to the action of leptin. I talk about it in detail in this book.
Yeah.
We have got to gain control of these key appetite hormones,
Is
ghrelin
sugar
and leptin.
Like drug addiction?
Absolutely. In fact, sugar is in some cases as strong or stronger than
Zach
drug
Drew,
addiction.
sitting right there, has listened to you. He has struggled for years to get a hold of his weight, and he admits that sugar has been like a drug to you, and the sweets and everything like that.
Sure, yeah, and I've actually, I still want to lose about 50 pounds. Since about last year, a little over a year ago, I've lost about a little over 70 pounds now.
Praise God.
And
Look at that.
He's lost.
Yeah, there's
70 pounds, and you
We're so
realize
proud of you,
that
Zach.
you realize it was an addiction,
oh, for sure.
and you realize
And I feel like it was a spiritual thing
if
too.
you were taking cocaine or something, you would, as a Christian, would say, I got to stop this somehow.
Yes.
I need help, God.
And that's what it was.
And you needed help, right?
I did, and I
From
had
God.
to cry out to God, and I had to realize that faith without works is absolutely dead. That's what James says.
Amen.
Faith, there's a type of faith that's absolutely pointless, and it's a faith without any action. I can have all the faith in the world that one day I'm going to lose weight. But if I don't apply action to it, it's a pointless, dead faith. In the same way, many people have been probably thinking, man, God, why don't you please just heal me of diabetes? And you have so much faith that God will heal you of diabetes. But faith without action is dead. God is not going to do things for us that we can do for ourselves. We're co-laborers with Christ. We work together.
Amen.
We've got to provide that natural so that He can provide the supernatural.
Wow.
And so it's been a long journey, and it's been a tough journey. And it's one of the things
You're
where...
climbing the rough side of the mountain, and it's been tough. Now, we got to stop babying our children. Mama Lori does not baby. She's raised a lot of kids. And I'll tell you what, it was the rough side of the mountain raising those kids at times. But she said no. And we're trying our best, because in the ghetto, the kids have diabetes like crazy because they feed them sugar. And sugar, I got to ask you a question, Doc. I know you're enjoying this meal.
So
and I am too. I mean, if this is health, I'll take it any day.
Well, you know, it's so filling, it's so satisfying, it tastes so good, and people think, oh, to lose weight, I gotta eat just tree bark and horrible tasting food.
This is a 5-star restaurant right there.
It's amazing. It's so satisfying and it's so filling. I love it.
Honestly, I went almost several years that I did not have the cravings.
Yes.
I went a long time. And yet, my brain tells me you don't want to lose your arms, you don't want to lose your legs, you don't want to lose your sight. And yet, if there was a cake at home, I might straighten it out a little bit and just, do you ever straighten a cake out?
Oh,
I'm just going to, they cut it crooked, so I'm just going to cut that little bit off until you eat the whole cake, you know what I mean? But I'm wanting sweets again. And these blueberries, I've read more about blueberries.
They're so good
You
for
approve this whole platter.
Well, these are God's natural sugars.
Look at, yes.
And they are very satisfying. But what happens is we take man-made sugars. Now, again, your processed food companies are hiring the brightest chemists, the brightest psychologists, the brightest marketers to create a food that so appeals to these 5 senses that they're created so you can't eat just one. You can't eat just one potato chip. You can't eat just one little cookie. You can't eat just one little bite of ice cream. You can't eat just one little piece of cake.
I used to be able to eat a batch of chocolate chip cookies hot out of the oven.
Well,
my mom made the best.
And so again, these are addictive foods created to appeal so greatly to your 5 senses that there's no way you can stop when you start eating it. And so that's why we've got to identify these and get them out of the house. And why does it?
They have to be out of the house.
You got to get them out of the house.
Yep.
You got to get rid of them,
These
or else
people-
you're not going to be. It's like
health
an
worth it?
alcoholic keeping beer and wine and liquor around the house.
That's
you can't.
right. That's
So you got to get this, because
You
here's
have to
what
keep it
happens.
out of the house.
The main food cravings occur at night.
Yes.
And it's all based on these appetite hormones that I discuss in so great detail. And so first of all, these appetite hormones, the ghrelin and the leptin, if you want to get them out of sync, if you get them out of sync, you're going to have the most incredible urges to eat the wrong foods at the wrong times. That's going to invite obesity back into your body, or you're never going to get over the obesity. So first of all, what you've got to do is you've got to go to bed early. You go to bed early, because when you go to bed early, preferably at 10 or before 10, if you stay up late, 11 or 12, these appetite urges are going to hit you. And if you've got ice cream in the freezer, if you've got cookies and cake and snacks and crackers and chips, you're going to be craving them.
Yeah,
so you got to go to bed early.
Yes, and you're so vulnerable to them. I mean, you're like your guard is let down at that time of night. You just kind of,
Now
realize. Wait a minute, the artificial sugars stuff with them, and so because I'll buy that occasionally, and it's all strange names. I mean, really strange names.
And I always say, please don't eat that, because it doesn't. When he eats it,
because it gives gas. That's why she says it.
Horrible gas, and I'm like, I have
gas
to suffer
from those
with that.
Well, it's fermented. What's happening? The bacteria and the yeast in your GI tract are fermenting, creating gases. Yeah.
But so I've been wanting to eat some of the artificial, so I've been in my craving period the last few months. So I will start eating artificial stuff, buy it, and
With the xylitol.
xylitol. That's one of the names.
Well, that's
that
a sweet alcohol that's fermented and creates tremendous gas in your system.
Oh, really?
If you're going to get any type of sweet alcohol, get
it makes me feel sick afterwards. I'm getting to the point I feel like something's wrong, doctor.
Well, here's what's going on.
People need to know, because we think if we go buy the artificial sweetened cakes or cookies or something, that we're going to be able to do it. But what is it doing to us?
What is happening is real simple. These are just the simple alcohols like xylitol, mannitol, maltitol.
They're there.
These are simply alcohols that ferment, creating tremendous gas. All you have to do, choose erythritol. Erythritol is the only type of sweet alcohol that does not ferment and create the gas. It doesn't go through the GI tract, it goes through the kidneys. The other is lohan or monk fruit. That's a natural sweetener that generally doesn't cause gas. The other is stevia or Truvia or
use that.
Purevia.
Stevia's okay.
Yes, those are okay because
But not
we
all
have that at our
stevia.
house.
Not all stevia, though. I have to
not
say
all
this.
stevia.
There
There
are
are
some
certain brands that are
stevias,
better.
Certain brands you're going to do and
Right.
gag and
Yeah.
go,
Right.
Dr.
But-
Colbert eats that.
The-
Some of them aren't that good. You have to find the good ones.
And the agave nectar is higher in high fructose than high fructose corn syrup. So again, I'm not a fan of agave. I'm a fan of the best or stevia. Now, there's certain stevias that are real good. Some people like the stevia from the company called Cal, K-A-L. That's a really good one according to some. There's many different stevias. Some just like the Truvia or the Purevia. And these are fine. These are natural sweeteners that generally don't cause gas.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a quick question. Okay, I have a lot of people around me. I'm not going to name anybody. I'm not saying up here on the set because I don't know. I know Sasha doesn't, but a lot of people in our life, and I think maybe you might be one of them, they drink diet sodas.
Yes.
And they get fatter
They
the
do.
more they drink it.
That's right,
I've
and that's
watched it
common.
right before my eyes.
These diet sodas, unfortunately, stimulate increased appetite, and they mess with these appetite hormones. You want to unleash these appetite hormones when you have little or no control over your appetite. You drink sodas, diet sodas. They're
Yeah.
terrible for doing that. And some of them have NutraSweet or aspartame in them, which are excitotoxins that are associated with dementia. And memory loss for many people. So that's why I've got to be cautious with this.
Yes.
So let's talk about
Okay.
what we do.
Okay,
Here's really
yes.
important to control these appetite hormones.
Yes.
We find probably the greatest one that creates tremendous cravings is ghrelin. When that ghrelin level increases, it unleashes that appetite. So in order to
that
control
actually sounds
ghrelin,
demonic, doesn't it?
well, it's like gremlin.
Gremlin, yeah.
In order to control ghrelin is secreted on a 4-hour cycle. One of the best ways is to eat every 3.5 to 4 hours, and you keep it under control. The way to keep it under control is to eat adequate fiber, especially soluble and insoluble fiber. It really helps to control the ghrelin, as well as protein.
Your chia seeds.
Yeah, chia seeds are great, flax seeds, salba seeds, these all help to increase by a volumetric principle, they increase the volumetric portion in the stomach. They expand in the stomach. They extend the stomach, so they turn down the ghrelin tremendously, as well as adequate protein and adequate good fats. These are the keys, the soluble fiber, the insoluble fiber, the good healthy fats like avocados or your nuts or your seeds, as well as the protein. And what I find, so many women don't eat enough protein.
Right.
And when you eat those proteins, especially plant protein like your beans, peas, and lentils, and you may have to take Beano, but you take the Beano before you eat the beans, or you're going, some people complain of gas, so that's a issue. And if you do that at night, a bowl of lentil soup, you eat some good avocados, put some avocados in your soup. You say, I'm going to get
good.
fat. No, you're not, because there's no sugar and starches in that affect you.
That's so interesting
trigger
because
that.
just last night I was just, Jim had already fallen asleep and I'm watching TV and I was just started, and I had a good healthy, I had salmon actually, had a good healthy meal, but a few hours later I all of a sudden had this craving for something. So I went to the fridge and thank the Lord that I don't keep bad food in the house.
Thank goodness.
I had some beans that we had made the day before, and so I just took a cup of beans that
Good.
were already cooked, just heated them up quickly, and ate that, and it was so satisfying.
Now, if
and
you
I
wanna
had a
really-
great night's sleep.
That's right. If you want to really
That's good.
fill your tummy up, you can make you a little smoothie at night, and you can
Oh,
put a
that's a
couple of
good idea.
tablespoons of the chia seed or salba seed in there. You put some coconut milk that's low sugar, or almond milk, or you can just put water in there. You can also get a little plant protein. You can get a frozen banana and put it in there. You freeze it,
With
and it
some
makes it creamy
berries.
with some berries. And oh my goodness,
Oh,
you
so
will be
good.
filled up.
Yes.
Especially with those chia seeds. Now, if you want to also put a little coconut oil in there, makes it taste good, as well as you can use a little flaxseed oil,
So
which is good. So that's a great little smoothie recipe that'll fill you
yeah.
up at night so that you're not going to be craving all these sugars and starches.
And the
Right.
chia seeds with it in there as a smoothie will keep your blood sugar from spiking. So if, let's
right.
say if you're diabetic or
Right.
pre-diabetic,
Yes.
then you can take some of the fruit and put it in there as a smoothie. It's almost like having strawberry ice cream.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Put taste, you know,
when
in
you
there.
put some berries, some blueberries or strawberries and a frozen banana in there, as well
Some
as
coconut
so
milk.
good.
coconut milk
Coconut
with
milk in it.
chia seeds, and you blend all that up with a little coconut oil. Oh my goodness!
It tastes like
it tastes so
strawberry
good,
ice
yet
cream
it's so
at night.
filling.
And it's good.
Because realize those salba seeds or those chia seeds expand 10 to 12 times their size. So that 2 tablespoons becomes 20 to 25 tablespoons of expansion in your gut. So it fills you up.
sleep good.
It turns that ghrelin
Yes.
right down. It's beautiful how it works.
Oh, I'm
And
gonna
but then
do
if you
that.
And
get
it's
on
tasty. And
but then if you get on sugar and starches, especially sugars, you're eating cake at night, you're eating cookies at night, you know, your chocolate chip or your Oreo cookies, realize what happens, that's spiking your blood sugar level, your pancreas squirts out a lot of insulin. Within an hour or two, the insulin level drives the sugar down and unleashes that ravenous appetite.
And then 3 o'clock in the morning, bing, your
That's
eyes
right.
are open.
You're
And you're like,
it's
and you
gonna
can't
wake
go
up.
back to sleep because your
your
blood
sugar goes
sugar,
down.
boom, has thrown
That's
you
right.
awake.
Absolutely right. So it's a simple way, and that's why I go through it. One of the first things I talk about is how to lose weight. We use the hat principle. You say, what is the hat principle? Well, look at Jim's hat. See
Yeah.
that cross
Yeah.
on there?
There it
you
is.
picture the hat, and the
saw it
hat
in
is
there.
first we control those appetite hormones. You've got to control them. And this is the big thing with weight loss. If you don't control those appetite hormones, no diet will work. I teach them exactly how to control these hormones. How do you do it? You go to bed early, you sleep. You get adequate sleep, at least 7 to 8 hours sleep a night. You make the right food combinations. You add fiber, the right kind of fiber. You also add protein. You also add fats. Those key ingredients, but you notice I didn't say sugar. I didn't say the carbs and all that. You add these ingredients, lower the leptin and the ghrelin amazingly well as some omega-3 fats, which it just so happens that your salba seed and your chia seed and your flax seeds are high in omega-3 fats. Those are wonderful at helping control those hormones. The other key, now this is an acronym, the HAT is the hormones, the A is the attitude. You've got to have a can-do attitude.
Yes.
There's so many people that say, I can't. My whole family's fat. I'm going to be fat. Or I've got a low metabolic rate. I'll always have a low metabolic rate. Or I can't give up ice cream.
Or it's too expensive to eat healthy.
That's right.
Oh,
I
that's the
hear
big
that
lie.
one
That's
all
the
the
big
time.
lie.
Yes.
That really is.
I do. I hear that a lot. Well, it's just too expensive to eat healthy.
Right.
That is the biggest lie.
It is a
that
big
the
lie.
enemy really puts out there. It may be expensive to eat organic, and I agree, but you can still eat healthy and be inexpensive.
Right.
But one other thing, too, is what you practice, you become.
Yes. Yes.
It's really true.
It's true.
If you practice, you can't control,
Right.
then you never will.
You know, Dr. Don has in his book, Dr. Don Colbert says on page 212, and I love this quote. I've preached, I've used it, but I'm glad you put it in here. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap character. Sow character, reap a destiny. And the destiny is simply to have the good health so that you can become everything that God wants you to be on this earth, fulfill your calling, your purpose on this earth.
And getting back to the very last part of the hat we were talking about. Remember, we're
Yes.
talking about hormones and attitude. This is for losing weight. You got to follow these 3 things I found.
Okay.
Hormones, you got to balance your hunger hormones. You got to have the right can-do attitude. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And the last, the T, is the timing. Timing is critical. There was a study out of the Tel Aviv University, and they took a group of about almost 100 women. They split them into 2 groups. They were obese women. They put them on the same amount of calories, 1,400 calories a day, for 3 months. One group, however, they put the majority of their calories in the morning for breakfast, 700 calories for breakfast, 400 calories or 500 calories for lunch, and 200 calories for dinner. So we call it the big breakfast group. This is for 3 months. The second group of obese women, about 50 women, they put them on a small breakfast. Now realize only 44% of Americans eat breakfast. Only 44%. That is one of the reasons why we have an obesity epidemic.
And there's a lot of confusion right now because there's a lot of new studies that's come out saying, well, it's not, after all, it's not a good idea to eat breakfast. Now that's the new thing they're coming out saying is that, maybe they're finding out that eating breakfast isn't all that healthy and necessary. So it's creating a lot of confusion
and that's
out
what
there
I tell
to
people. They told me years ago when I graduated from medical school, they said, now listen, the good news is that you're going to find out about half the information that you've learned in medical school is right. The bad news, half the information you learn in medical school is wrong. We just don't know which half. Okay.
Oh, man.
Now getting back to that, and that's what we found.
Well, right there.
Well, margarine is good for you. No, margarine's bad for you.
Remember that?
Well, eggs are bad for you. No, eggs are good for you. So again, that's what we're finding is about half the information most doctors learn, they're going to find out half of that information was bad information.
That's why they call it practicing.
That's right.
Practicing.
That's why with our food, and based on biblical information, this is not unchangeable. God's word is unchangeable.
He's going to go back to it.
This is based on His word.
Now
but
finish the story. Yeah,
getting back to timing, I know. Zach, I understand. But getting back to timing, that group of women, remember, the first group had the big breakfast, small dinner. The second group had the small breakfast, only 200 calories for breakfast, 500 calories for lunch, but 700 calories for dinner, the big dinner group. After 3 months, they found the group with the big breakfast, small dinner, lost over 18 pounds of weight, over 3 inches off their waist. Now remember, same amount of calories each day. Now the small breakfast, large dinner group lost only about 7 pounds and only a little over an inch off their waist. Now, here's the group that ate the big breakfast, small dinner, lost almost 3 times as much weight as the small breakfast, large dinner group. So what we're finding is timing is very important when you want to lose weight. And that's why it's critically important to eat a big breakfast. And they carried this study further, and they found that even those people that would eat, the women especially, that would eat a little chocolate or something like that for breakfast, it controlled their appetite hormones. Still the big breakfast, but adding a little chocolate or a little something that they love.
Like a little dark chocolate?
Right, that's fine. It even controls their appetite better, and they're able to do that without craving, unleashing all the sugar cravings, if they will just have their sugar for breakfast, along with the right combo now, along with the right amount. You gotta have the protein, the fiber, the healthy carbs, the healthy fats. But when you put the right fuel combination, it literally enables you to burn fat. It increases your metabolic rate. You keep the weight off, and it stays off. That is the key.
I take something every day, and I have taken this.
Well, I've had this now for over 15 years, I believe.
Oh, you're kidding.
Every year we improve it.
No, but I start my day, and I have good vitamins that I take, whole food vitamins that I take. But I actually drink, this is my breakfast drink. So I take, because I have to take, when I'm eating, I've got to put it all in me because I'm going for a workload.
These are the fermented foods, the vegetables, and the grasses.
Pass that down to her.
They're the most alkaline foods known to man, including wheatgrass,
put water in it
barley grass, alfalfa, as well as spinach and kale, and broccoli and cabbage and carrots and beets. It has these powerful vegetables because, quite honestly, most people don't get the servings of vegetables that they need.
No.
Now, some people, when they eat vegetables, they get gas, they bloat, they swell. And in fermenting the vegetables, we literally, they're pre-digested for you. We have special fermentation vats. We add organic molasses as a prebiotic that are digested. Don't worry, it's not sugar in it. There's 1 gram or less of sugar per serving. There's hardly any sugar, but we ferment the grasses and the veggies, and we pre-digest them so that they're literally broken down and absorbed, assimilated very easily into your system.
Right, okay.
It unlocks the nutrition, and it doesn't have the nightshades. So many of these green products have the nightshades. Remember, the thing that really was my major thorn in my flesh that triggered the psoriasis were the nightshades, especially the peppers and the paprika and even tomatoes. For some people, if you have autoimmune disease or osteoarthritis, The nightshades will usually inflame your system if you drink them every day or eat them every day.
And ours is the only greens that you can get in the world. That has been fermented without those nightshades.
And it's
amazing.
We're
organic.
it.
Everything
and
in there
it's
is organic.
And what I do is I take a scoop of this and the reds, and I mix them together. I do
The
that.
reds have your anti-aging fruits, and people will say, well,
That's
Wait
what
a minute.
That's my drink.
I'm not
This is what I
taking the
drink
red.
I do
Well, you
every
need to put
day.
it
I take the
together.
green.
Right here.
Well, you put them together because you're getting your anti-aging fruits with
That's
it.
what I do. every
Man, the
day.
minute I heard anti-aging, you know, when you get my age, you're going to do anything
I've been
anti-aging.
trying to tell him this is what I drink every day on the show. You want to know what's in my red cup? They all have coffee around me, or Jim's always have a coffee. Sasha has her coffee.
Don't confess
But,
my sins.
Well, I have to because you confess mine too. So, but anyway, no, seriously, this is what I drink. This is what's in my little red coffee cup every single day. When you see me drinking out of this little straw, it's
Is that why you're so young? I got to take it to keep up with you, babe.
But even still, we don't want you to do this every day.
No, but
we
I mean
want
when
you
I-
to
when I-
take
my
one
taping
day a
days.
week
Yes.
off.
Right, take at least
Because
a day a week.
anything you
Right.
do every day will begin
Again.
to not have effects.
Okay,
So you want to
that's
give your
good.
body a break at least once
Now,
a
I
week.
take this every day, the green. Can
I
I
want
do
you to
this?
start
You can-
taking a
Sundays
day
off. I
off.
You
decided
take a
today.
Sunday off. But
Yeah.
again, what this does,
Oh,
this-
yeah, I do take Sunday.
These are
I actually take Saturday and Sunday off.
Okay,
These are
that's okay.
These are
That's okay.
super alkalinizing vegetables and grasses. Now, the reason I didn't combine
My
the
body
fruits-
says thank you when I take
Me
this.
Well,
too.
praise
It does.
God.
Me
And I don't-
too.
It's just
Me
like
too.
my body wants it.
Right.
It
And that's
does.
what so many of my
Me too.
patients love about it because it's so it's pre-digested for you. And the reason I didn't put the fruits with the veggies is because the vegetables are fermented. If you ferment fruits, you
This
can get
turns to
alcohol.
wine.
So we don't want to do that, and we don't want to ferment our fruits.
I told Don, I said, well, maybe we should.
No, we shouldn't.
It'd be a bestseller.
But it has the powerful probiotics in it, and it has the enzymes. So many people, especially people over 70, about 2/3 of their pancreas ability to digest is gone. They don't digest well. So this is pre-digested for you.
That's
And so you don't get the
good.
bloating and gas and that so many people suffer from eating veggies.
Yeah.
So what's in this?
Well,
Barley.
But it tastes so
where's the
good.
red?
It's all the
ground.
good and none of the bad. That's what's
the
in
reds
it.
contain the pomegranate, which is that super powerful fruit that is one of the most, the highest, some of the highest antioxidants, as well as blueberries, raspberries, acai berry, apples that have the quercetin in it.
Amazing.
It also has the beets in it. Beets are so important for.
It's got blueberry.
Nitric oxide.
Blueberries like the God-blessed berry.
Blueberries are one of the most
I don't know
important
why.
berries for the brain. They help the brain tremendously.
And
Everything I read is
Yeah.
blueberry, blueberry,
It
blueberry.
was
love the
so good for the
blueberries.
brain.
They're
It's
excellent.
So
And
good.
they're in this, and I'm not taking it.
Well, we want you to take it.
Yeah, you want to do
I've
it.
tried to tell you, but you
We're
didn't- it
serving
took
some
you
to the
coming
audience
here
to try.
tell us.
I know. There we
At least
go.
we'll get you
Good.
healthy
Give
today,
them
all right?
some energy. They need it.
Try this.
They've been sitting here for
For hours.
It's
yes,
our
that's what we
anti-aging
do.
fruits and our
This is actually
fermented veggies and
This
grasses.
is a great taste.
It
isn't
is, and
it?
it's all
It tastes
organic.
Excellent.
And
No,
people
it
don't
had
believe
to. It had to pass the Mary Colbert test.
That's right. Mary's got a very
I
sensitive
have a
palate.
very
is.
sensitive palate.
Used to, years ago, when I came up with my greens, patients would say, Dr. Colbert, this tastes like the grass that's up under my lawnmower. And so I said, okay, and so I've worked and I've tweaked it. Now
It's
our
so
grasses
good.
and greens actually are flavored with organic stevia, organic cinnamon, and they
Cinnamon.
taste good.
Yeah, I can taste that.
And even
My-
my
So good.
grandbabies, my 4- and 6-year-old, love the taste of it.
One bottle of it for a donation of $45.
Okay.
But if you actually do a 1-year commitment, it's for
Yes.
$40 every month.
Let's go over here. I
I'll
need some
squat.
high shoes. Doctor's a lot taller than me. People always say, Jim, I didn't know you were so short. Well, go stand next to the doctor here and you'll see how tall I
Dr.
am.
Don is nice and tall.
Now tell me
Here's your shoes, honey.
again. Now is this some of the
Yes.
stuff that's in this?
Well, yes, we have the raspberries, the blueberries, acai berries, apples,
Here, Laura, you're really into
pomegranate,
this. You
Oh,
have,
I love it.
cranberries.
I
The
love
cranberries are in there. There's the cranberries there, as well as we have the beets. The beets are so important for nitric oxide that keeps those blood vessels nice and pliable. And so what I do in the morning is, my girls have it for me when I come to the office. Literally, when I walk in the door, they have it shaken and ready.
I've seen them
My
do
greens
that.
and my reds. They hand
Yes.
it to me. I swig it down, and literally I get the burst of energy, mental clarity.
Yes.
Now,
for
you
the
make
whole
it
day.
separately, or can you mix them?
I mix them. I mix mine together.
So, but I shouldn't have them every day with the reds, right? Or
Well, what I do, you can do it 5 or 6 days a week. Some people can, if you can do this 3, 4, 5 days a week,
I
it's
burn
great.
up a lot of stuff. You ever listen to your body?
Yes, I'm
Because
learning
it's going to tell
more
you
and more.
in the long run. First of all, some of your bodies need to get saved, okay? We'll figure that out. Because they crave alcohol, cocaine, all the old stuff, remember, from the old days?
Yes,
Your body's still craving it.
unfortunately.
But no, your body will tell you you want, like for breakfast. Who ever heard that we're supposed to eat donuts and
Terrible.
Danish pastry as a breakfast? They call it a continental breakfast.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No.
Yeah.
That is the devil's breakfast. That's
Right.
not
It
what
makes
you
you
should be
tired
eating
and
for breakfast.
sluggish and
That's
mentally
that's pure sugar. Are you listening to me at all?
We are.
No, you're not.
Yes, we are.
You
Honey,
don't need that.
Right.
People say, "Oh, Jim, you're losing way too much weight." If you eat what this man's telling you for your whatever your problem is, whatever
Or
your
to
needs
prevent.
you, unless you got a bad something system, you can't gain weight if you're not eating tons of cholesterol and sugar.
And you're
if
not
you're
getting
eating
sugar.
the junk, all the junk's gone. You're not going to, unless you've got a you could have a problem inside your body that would make you gain weight without.
Well, unlikely. With this,
Unlikely,
you're not
but
getting
everybody
the
says
calories.
they have a. What is that problem? Everybody's what?
They will
Your
blame it on their
genes have
genes,
bad
yeah.
genes, or
Right, but what happens when
Thyroid.
you eat that big breakfast with the right combination of food? Again, fiber, you need good fats, you need protein. And this is one thing with women, they won't eat pancakes or starches, but they don't eat enough protein.
Right, yeah.
And also you
True.
need healthy carbs. You need the healthy carbs, the healthy fats, the healthy protein, and the fiber. When you put that together, and then your fruits and veggies. The diet in America is so deficient in fruits and vegetables. Realize
Yes,
fruits and vegetables prevent most of the cancers.
Right.
And so by getting adequate servings of fruits and vegetables, you are literally closing the door on cancer. But most people don't. Or the number one vegetable eaten, the number two most common vegetables eaten in America. You know what they are?
What are they?
Can you guess, anyone?
French fry.
Potatoes,
probably.
number one.
Potato.
Mainly in the form of potato chips or French fries. And number two, tomatoes, mainly in the form of ketchup, tomato sauce. Those are over 50% of the vegetables consumed by Americans today.
Wow.
Now listen to this. Both of those vegetables are nightshades, which in a lot of people like me with autoimmune disease, I had autoimmune disease, psoriasis, is inflaming me. People with osteoarthritis, those generally inflame them. So over half the vegetables eaten in this country are usually inflammatory for a lot of people. Now we don't have any of this in ours.
So if a potato, like a French fry, I don't eat mashed potatoes at all because in my reading, I read that
Converts to sugar.
they go to sugar.
They do.
Is
You're
that
absolutely
true?
right. Absolutely right. For you, it's best not to avoid them. Or if you do, if you don't have diabetes, you can have potatoes the size of a tennis ball. It's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you eat potatoes, like you go to some of these restaurants, and the serving sizes are massive, and then they have a huge thing of butter, tablespoon of butter in the center of it. Now, you're just clogging your arteries up and asking for diabetes with that. So again, it's the choices, and moderation is the key.
Yes.
Okay, but what we're doing here, if we have water, can
Yes,
we get a
we
picture
do.
of water? Thank you. Let's
do.
just mix some up.
Yes.
We want to add our water. And so this is what I do, and even with my babies love to drink
So
it.
so it's okay for children?
Absolutely. Fruits and vegetables is much better than candy and cake and cookies and ice cream.
Oh, this is
We take a
perfect.
scoop
Okay,
here.
so-
Now look at the brilliant anti-aging fruits here. These are
Yes.
all organic. I'm making a little teeny
That's
bit of a
okay.
mess.
That's okay,
But
'cause we
see,
have a pile.
there's our anti-aging
one little
fruits.
scoop.
One scoop. And then we have our greens here.
Oh, so you're
our
gonna mix-
fermented greens and
See,
grasses.
I never
They're
thought-
all pre-digested for you now.
See, I never thought to mix the greens with the fruit
Oh, it's
before
great.
until Mary said
It tastes even better. So let's make
Okay.
you one. Let's make Jim one.
Okay.
Now, again, you don't have to use 8 ounces, guys. Many times, I don't have
could just do
time. I just put 4 ounces in there.
So do I. That's what I do
4 ounces is usually all you need.
Yeah, because I don't always have the time just to get it all down. So yeah, that's good. I'm
going to put
glad
about
to hear
4
that.
ounces in here.
Okay.
And also, you really taste those wonderful anti-aging fruits, the pomegranate, the raspberries, the blueberries, and these are all organic. Now, realize a lot of our fruits are loaded with pesticides, which most people don't realize.
Oh.
Apples. You know, apples have some of the highest pesticide residues.
Oh.
Peaches and
What
nectarines.
can I do about that?
Well, this is organic. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh.
They don't have it.
Oh, good.
Now, you're getting about 10 servings fruits and veggies here when you do this, antioxidant equivalents.
Okay.
That's a lot, guys. And then you just shake this up, and my goodness, you
So
have your perfect green. Now, this is super alkalinizer. Remember, a lot of these grasses and all and fruits have a pH of around, they bring your pH up to about 9.5, similar to your water. But the thing that's different with this, when you eat the vegetables and grasses, like wheatgrass, is super alkalinizing. It keeps your pH high for hours.
Oh,
That's what's a little different from your water. The water is good, but when you combine the water with this and do it first thing in the morning, it'll keep your pH of your tissues up for hours.
So
That's
what I love about it.
excellent.
one person could order one of each, and
Thank you.
could like if there were 2 little skinny people, you know.
Yeah.
That they could probably split.
Oh, absolutely.
One, and so
Well,
they could go 2 months.
Sure,
on
absolutely
one.
you could. You could do a half a scoop of each once a day, and then you're still
Yeah.
getting plenty of vegetables and fruits.
Yes.
So that's a great
It's
way to do
so
it, too.
good together. I've never
is.
had it together before.
Can I
great.
try it, honey?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I love
And I like it with less water because
do too.
the tastes are really delicious.
It
Especially of
really
those
is.
fruits. Those
Yeah.
fruits
Okay,
are
honey,
really
make
good.
me this
Now
every
you're
day,
saying,
okay?
what about sugar? There's only 1 gram of sugar per serving of your greens, and there's only 2 grams of sugar. But look at all the fiber we have in it. There's lots of fiber in it, too.
Now, as a diabetic, can I handle
Yes,
that 2 grams?
absolutely. Absolutely, because it's got the fiber with it, see?
Okay. So
That's so
I
good.
try not to there's some fruit that would not be good for me as a
Well,
diabetic.
the high
right? Too
glycemic
much.
fruits, yes. There's certain high glycemic fruits like raisins, dried fruits are real high in sugar. So I don't like my diabetics going on, any kind of dried
Yeah,
fruit. Fruit
yeah,
juices,
that's
of
what
course,
I'd be
are real
careful
high in
with.
sugar. But this, you're not going to get it. My diabetics have this without any problem.
So
I mean, if you haven't ordered the book, or you can order these supplies today, this book is. Would you like to have a doctor call on you every day? And you could ask all the questions you want.
Yes, the answer is yes, yes,
Wait,
and
Doc,
yes.
I bet if Dr. Don and Mary knocked on your door, you'd let them in, wouldn't you?
I'm sure you would, yes.
And you could talk for the next 2 hours, I bet, and ask them all kinds of questions. That's what we do. We have fun.
Amen.
We go to see them and our physicals and all that stuff, and then they take us out to eat. and
Good restaurants,
healthy restaurant. But then we get to talk, and we talk about our health. This man is obsessed with your health.
He is. That's
Not
the
his own
truth.
health. I'm sure he's taking care of that.
Oh, he
but
is. He practices what he
he
preaches.
really cares. In this book, it says the simple lifestyle that brings life.
Yes.
And this is the best book he's ever written. I recommend it totally, 100%. And as I said to rabbis' books, I said, this is the book that'll help you understand 9/11 and why it happened. And the man changed the world already. I mean, I think he's one of the new Billy Grahams anyway. He's the voice to this nation. And of course, Billy Graham just wrote a new book. And by the way, you ought to read it because it is good.
Yes.
Let food be your medicine. Get this book now. Nowhere can you get a baker's dozen that boils down to
$13.46 a book.
And
And that's for a donation of $175.
That's for
to the
13
ministry.
books?
Yes, 13.
and you can get and they're hardback editions, and people will think you're really generous because it's a $22 book on the back. It says, they all say it on the back. They're not code. They just says right on the back, $21.99.
Now, in the airports, it'll be going for a lot more than that usually.
Really?
Yeah.
They'll put a different sticker
Sure.
over the top.
They will. They usually do.
Yeah, but these books, you know, I have a health library, and I don't use it anymore, I'll tell you that, but I have these big encyclopedias of health because I figure, especially during troubled times, you're going to need to look things up. But here's a book that just simply, you can fight it. And this is what I've been doing now for several years.
Yes.
Many years actually, because it was in our beginning of our marriage where I began, and cholesterol, they told me, would kill me. They told me to go to the doctor, do not pass go, go to the doctor now because you won't live.
So you would have gotten a statin drug if you had gone to a doctor.
Right.
Now, statin drugs are like I call a double-edged sword. It may help lower your cholesterol, but then it can also harm a lot of things like your liver. It can also affect the muscles and create muscle aches, raise the CPK enzyme, and start to actually damage your muscles. The big thing it does, it can affect your memory. How many people have I seen over the years lose their memory from a statin drug because cholesterol is one of the most important components for the brain? The other thing is ED. When you take statin drugs, it interferes with those sex hormones. So the statin drugs are a double-edged sword. Why not start with the right diet?
Right.
Why not start with the right soluble fiber, the right foods that can correct the problem without causing harm?
Right.
It's so simple.
Yes.
And that's why I've had to write this book, because lowering cholesterol is one of the easiest things we can do without a statin drug. So
that's amazing.
now there's some people that have to have it because they have a genetic issue there, but for the vast majority, the foods will work just as good.
It's
You even talk about arthritis in here.
Yes,
There's foods for arthritis.
Absolutely, there are foods for arthritis. One of the best ones we had today, wild salmon. Do you realize that about half of the fish that we eat in this country is farm raised? Do you realize that when you farm raise the fish, that fish has pesticides in it, antibiotics in it, and then many people will fry the fish and turn it into even more inflammatory of a food.
Man.
So again, that's why for arthritis, one of the key things with osteoarthritis are those nightshades. You identify the enemy. There's a few key. If you want to worsen your arthritis, you eat these 3 foods or 4 foods. Let me have 4.
Okay, tell us.
Dairy. Most all dairy feeds osteoarthritis. Number 2, fried foods. Anything deep fried. Just like my wife years ago, I learned this years ago because every time she would eat something fried, this one finger would hurt her. I said, Mary, it's your fried food. And finally she awakened one day and understood it and stopped. Okay, the other is going to be red meat or processed meats. If you eat a lot of red meat, how many people have I seen have worsened arthritis? And last are the nightshades. Nightshades, for some reason, as many as 40 to 50% of osteoarthritis sufferers that's aggravated with nightshade vegetables. The key is teaching it. The Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I give you this knowledge that's taken me 30 years to figure this out. I didn't learn this from medical school. I didn't learn it from pharmaceutical reps. I learned it by spending my money, probably close to $1 million, of studying on some of the top doctors from around the world, and then literally seeing the tremendous benefit to my patients, treating over 40,000 patients for almost 30 years to see the healing come about with my patients by following these simple principles. And I made it real simple in this book, Let Food Be Your Medicine.
Oh, it's incredible.
Order the book now. You can get a baker's dozen of them and pass them out for Christmas, put them in their stockings or just their little gifts. You want to take one to your doctor, wrap it up for Christmas, and he'll open it up and he'll be thrilled. He really will. And if he has a search for knowledge, he'll want this book. And now if they want to order this,
Yes.
Zach, please help us.
The greens and
with
the red.
the green and the red.
That's right.
I'm going on the red too because anti-aging. When he said that, that's it.
Yes, you can order the Green Supreme and the Red Supreme for 1 month for a donation of $80 to the ministry. But we also offer the Green and the Red on a monthly basis, and that's for a donation of only $70 to the ministry. But a cool bonus with these offers is that the 1 month supply or the 12-month supply comes with a bonus of a 16-ounce jar of coconut oil as well.
So don't forget now, get Don Colbert's brand new book here available. What a blessing for your family. Give them it. You say, well, I'm not sure they'll read a book on health. Well, if they get sick, you'll do anything to get well. So get it in their house for Christmas, and they will call you blessed. They will rise up to call you blessed. Don, thank you.
Well,
Dr. Don Colbert.
Thank you, Dr. Colbert. Thank you, Mary.
New York Times bestseller.
Yes.
Soon to be the bestseller, one of the bestsellers, I believe, of all time. This is going to be always, always a bestseller, I believe. We have to go. Call right now, 1-888-988-1588, or write us at Post Office Box 7330, Branson, Missouri 65615. Don't forget to view our show 24 hours a day on Roku. The Roku network with the PTL television network is back on the air.
That's right.
24 hours a day. And go to our website.
Just go to JimBakerShow.com.
What was that?
I'm losing my voice. JimBakerShow.com.
Amen. God loves you. He really does. Bye-bye. Thank you, Doctor.
We're already in the Third World War. It's actually underway right now.
Really?
Yeah. China and Russia's waging a financial war against the U.S. dollar. There are cyber wars that are taking place. There are mysterious explosions taking place in certain countries, including China. Massive explosions where chemical plants are blowing up.
Number one, I believe a great shaking is coming. Great shaking that will change things, affecting America financially, economically, and more than that, and will affect the world, but a change of history.
And he says, you guys know how to interpret the signs of the weather. And then he rebuked him, and he said, but you don't know how to interpret the signs of the times. Jesus expects his followers to read the Bible and pay attention to the evening news.
Whether it's a disaster, an economic collapse, or wars, your life can change in an instant. You need to get prepared now. That is why you need to call 1-888-988-1588 and order our Year for You, Year for Two, or Time of Trouble offer. For as little as a donation of $600 or more to the ministry, you can receive 1,096 servings of food that will last one person a full year. In each of these offers, you will receive buttermilk pancakes, maple brown sugar oatmeal, chocolate pudding, whey milk, creamy chicken and rice, hearty vegetable chicken, creamy potato soup, creamy stroganoff, fettuccine alfredo, Italiano marinara, black bean burger, chicken noodle soup, corn chowder, macaroni and cheese, banana chips, instant white rice, instant mashed potatoes. The Year for Two offer is available for a donation of $1,100 or more to the ministry. This offer comes with 2,192 servings of food and comes in 8 buckets. For a donation of $3,500 or more to the ministry, you can receive our Time of Trouble offer. This offer comes with 7,672 servings of food. Please order your food today. You can donate to this ministry by calling 1-888-988-1588 or go online to JimBakerShow.com. You can also write to Jim Baker at P.O. Box 7330, Branson, Missouri 65615. Thank you for your continued prayers and support that helps keep us broadcasting around the world.